Hello everyone, welcome on into this video. Now, if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that I do lots of videos on GTA 3 and GTA Vice City as well. And typically when I'm recording those videos, if I see any random glitches or just interesting things about the game that I didn't know, I always make sure I record them, even if it's not part of the video that I'm actually making. And as I've been recording Vice City videos for a while now, I've built up a few of those clips. And instead of them just lying around, I thought I would put a bit of a compilation together. So here are 30 facts and random glitches that I encountered in Vice City. I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, firstly, let's talk about the phone calls. Of course, you can get phone calls from various characters in the game, usually to offer you missions. Now, usually when you answer a phone call, Tommy will take his phone out of his imaginary top pocket. Well, it depends what costume you're wearing, of course. And of course, he will answer the phone. But this can be different depending on which weapon you're holding at the time. For example, if you're holding the minigun or the chainsaw, because both of them seem to have the same animation, if you like, or the same pose when Tommy is holding either weapon. Basically, if you're holding either the minigun or the chainsaw while you answer the phone, he will actually maintain the pose that he was in, which looks really strange, because the weapon's disappeared and of course he's holding the phone and yet he's still holding it. He's still holding his hand out like he would be holding the weapon. There's just nothing there. Okay, so if you played Vice City, I'm sure you're familiar with Sunshine Autos. It's one of the businesses that you can purchase when you get to the mainland. And part of Sunshine Autos is the garage where you have to take all the cars to. At least the cars that are on the list next to the garage door. Of course, like in GTA 3 with the import-export garage, it tells you exactly what cars are required at which stage. What usually happens is, when you deliver the last car on any given list, you go outside and then it freezes for a minute when you can't move, and a new board will appear next to the garage and you have to collect a whole load more cars. But actually, if you go out of the garage in a particular way, you can actually see the board change over. So essentially what you have to do, of course, is just you go out of the garage, you turn to the left, and you have to try and keep the camera angled so that it's angled towards the wall in the garage rather than away from it. So if you do this right, you can actually see the game swapping the completed board out for the new board. In Vice City, there are at least 2 references around Scotland, and I'm sure there are more. So if you know of any more, please do let me know about them. Anyway, the first that I found when I was just casually playing the game, of course, was a reference to Dundee in Scotland. So I found this advert, and it's probably in other places too, near Escobar International Airport. What it says is, "Come to Dundee. Look, we have a boat that belonged to a loser." So why does this boat belong to a loser, apparently? Well, I believe this boat is the RRS Discovery, the city's historic Antarctic exploration ship, which was manned by Robert Falcon Scott and Ernest Shackleton. And the other one that I noticed was, I think, near the Pole Position Club. There's a travel agent, and one of the destinations is Tenerife, which of course makes sense, a very popular holiday destination, but the other one is Edinburgh. Now, I've actually personally been to Edinburgh numerous times. It's actually one of my favourite cities that I've been to. I would highly recommend it. But yeah, why are there so many references to Scottish places in Vice City? Well, that's because DMA Design, who went on to be Rockstar North, of course, are actually based in Scotland. And they were largely responsible for developing GTA 3 and Vice City. So yeah, you can expect to find a lot more Scottish references in the game. I think one is the radio station Wave 103. The name of the station is actually based on another station that's in Dundee itself. In the car park near the mall, you can find these objects which are labelled PayStation. Now, it seems quite innocuous, right? This is just where you pay for your parking, surely. But I always wondered whether PayStation was a nod to the word PlayStation, which of course is the console that the game came out on, before it was released on PC and, ported to other consoles as well. So yeah, I don't know whether I'm just being a little bit fanciful here, but yeah, this is something I always wondered, not just while I've been recording these videos, but since my childhood actually. Now this might be a more common term in America, which is perhaps why it's here. In the UK we should probably call them machines, like you pay at the machine. We don't really use the term PayStation. So as I say, maybe it's more common in America, but yeah, to us in the UK, I think me and my friends as well, we always wondered whether PayStation was in fact a nod to PlayStation. If you go up here, which is the northeast of the first island, this is where you can find one of the RC missions and one of the Top Fun vans. Near the course that you used with the RC Bandit mission, you can see a rather interesting sign, and it's this one, a sign for Eddie's. Now, if you've played the previous game in the series, GTA 3, this should be quite familiar to you. In fact, this is a sign that can be found at your safe house in Portland in GTA 3. For whatever reason, whether it was an Easter egg or whether it was just laziness, shall we say, let's say that they did decide to borrow some textures from the original game, and you can actually find some textures and entire buildings from GTA 3 in this game. For whatever the case, yeah, this sign exists in the game. It actually exists in Vice City. If you ever saw this sign and you thought it was familiar, this is why. Here's one that I've covered before, only in short though. I've never really done a proper segment in a video about it. And that is that if you take a helicopter to pay and spray, it will actually come out with wheels on, which is so weird. I still don't think I really understand why this happens. I think this garage at Sunshine Auto, or at least this spray and go, shall we say, it's actually not called pay and spray. Sorry, pay and spray in this game is actually called spray and go. I think this is the only one, or at least the best candidate really, because it's quite a large, or at least quite a wide space to get a helicopter into. Now you can choose to fly it in, but you will probably have to use the health cheat a couple of times, because it's still a small space and you will hit your rotor blades on things. So what I did here is I opted to push it in instead, which is a lot slower but a lot safer. And one last thing that I found was quite interesting about this is you can see that when you're actually flying in the air with the helicopter with wheels on, you can see that only the back wheels are moving and the front wheels are still, which kind of suggests that the helicopters were all programmed to be rear-wheel drive. Near your Ocean Beach Hotel safe house on the first island, there's a cafe located nearby, and it's called the Front Page Café. Now the interesting thing about this is the font that the game designers decided to use for this cafe. As you can see, it's the actual GTA font itself, which I believe is called Price Down, based on the fact that it was originally in the Price is Right TV show, and Grand Theft Auto and Rockstar by extension adapted it from the TV show for the game. But yeah, I don't think this is actually the only spot in the game where you can see something in the GTA font. But yeah, this one really stood out to me. It's not one that I've noticed before until recently. So there you go. When I was playing the mission Sir Yes Sir, I encountered a weird glitch that I've never seen before or since. So partway through the mission, you get a cutscene, and essentially the cutscene moves you from a particular place across to where the big blockade of boats is, which is where you spend the majority of the mission. Because you can't break through the boats, you're basically under attack from guys coming up in other boats, guys coming down from helicopters, you know the mission. And you basically just have to defend the ship until you can actually break through the blockade of boats ahead of you. But yeah, for whatever reason, when I was playing this mission this time, that cutscene didn't play. So I was just stuck on the boat, kind of stuck in limbo, moving from the place where the cutscene should have started to the place where the cutscene ends, and as I say, the rest of the mission plays out. Yeah, for whatever reason, the cutscene didn't play. I've never encountered that before or since, so yeah, please do let me know in the comments if you know why this happened, and if you've seen it as well. You may know that in the North Point Mall there is an Infernus. Yeah, it's on like this plinth if I remember right, and it's like, win this car. But of course the doors are unlocked and you can just take it and you can drive it around the inside of the mall. Not that it's much use of course, because it's quite a small space, it's not really ideal for a car. But yeah, it's in there if you want to. But you know what else is in the mall? Gang members. Gang members who will try and steal this car from you should you want to drive it around the mall. But the funny thing is, if you let this happen, the gang members essentially won't know how to drive it. there's no like pathways for the AI to follow in the mall. So what they will do is they will keep crashing against the sides of the building, because I assume they're trying to get out of the mall to follow one of the set kind of AI pathways that the cars on the roads follow normally. But obviously they can't get to it. They can't get to it through a solid wall of shops. So it's quite funny just to see them butting up against the wall like this. And obviously incredibly easy to steal it back should you want to. Okay, one of the missions in the game is Copland. And what you have to do is get a couple of cops into a garage first of all, so that you can waste them and steal their uniforms. Then what you have to do is go to the North Point Mall, and you have to set a bomb in the Tarbrush Cafe and then get out of there before it explodes. Now you only have a 5-second timer because Lance messed it up, of course. You only have a 5-second timer between detonating the explosive to getting out of the way and getting out of the area. But if you're very, very fast, what you can do is get from the place where you detonate the bomb outside, like through the doors outside the mall in time before the explosion takes place. And if you do this, the whole cafe, the Tarbrush Cafe, and the interior of the mall will actually unload by the time the cutscene plays. So yeah, it's quite surreal. You can actually see the cutscene play out with the unloaded mall interior. Now, I believe what I'm going to discuss now happens to more than one vehicle in the game, but this is the one that I originally spotted when I was casually just recording Vice City footage. So this is the Rumpo here. Looks more like the pony from GTA 3. Not the Rumpo from GTA 3, but whatever. This is the Rumpo in Vice City. And if you take it to paint spray, you will notice that the front bumper, or fender I believe you say in North America, will actually turn inside out. It's really strange. You can see it here on the vehicle. Unfortunately, it was nighttime when I recorded this, so you probably can't see it quite as well as you could if it was daytime in Vice City. But yeah, you can see the bumper at either ends. It's essentially turned inwards instead of outwards. Really strange glitch. If you steal a taxi or a cabbie from someone off the streets, something interesting can happen. And that is, if you steal the taxi and then start the taxi side mission, the taxi driver who you just stole the taxi from can actually turn into a passenger. So yeah, as you can see here, I'm giving the taxi driver a lift in my taxi, and he wanted to go to the chemist. But what's even more interesting, arguably, is the fact that once you get the passenger to his destination, he will just get out of the taxi like a regular passenger would, and then he will actually become an ordinary pedestrian. So he will walk down the street just like any other pedestrian would. Now, this is strange because the taxi driver model can only usually ever be seen driving the taxi, and it's the same on GTA 3 as well. So you never really see, in fact, you never see, aside from this, you never see the taxi driver as an ordinary pedestrian. I think this is the only way you can get it to work. Here's a bit of a random one. So I was at the beach in the first island, and I just happened to come across this pedestrian, this lady, who was stuck in the ground. Yeah, so I don't think I really have too much to say about this one, but yeah, for whatever reason, she was just stuck in the ground there. But then, actually, if I just forward the clip on, there just came a moment, I'm not sure what changed for this woman, whether she just had an immense sense of realisation that she was buried up to her neck in sand, but all of a sudden she just decided to come out of the hole that she dug for herself and just casually walk off like nothing happened. Here's something else, another glitch that happened to me while I was recording Vice City footage, and that is when I completed the boatyard asset in the mainland. Of course, your Vercetti gang members appear once you complete the asset, and when they did that, they actually appeared and they were clipping into one of the boats itself in the shed there. At first I noticed it at the front of the boat and I thought that looked a little bit weird. I went around to the stern of the boat and it was even worse, the clipping. They were right in there, as you can see here. So yeah, a strange phenomenon. I'm not sure if this happens like every time that you complete the boatyard asset or whether this was just a one-off. But yeah, I thought I'd capture it regardless. In GTA 3, there were various cars that you couldn't take to pay and spray, and these were mostly emergency vehicles like the police car. But I think there were other ones as well, like I don't think you could respray the Dodo, for example. There are the same rules in Vice City as well. Like if you take an emergency vehicle, like the police car, for example, to paint spray, it won't let you respray it. But there are some other ones as well, which are quite surprising. For example, the bus. Yeah, for whatever reason, it won't let you respray the bus. Now, I haven't tried every single car in the game, but I do wonder if it's similar for the coach, the line runner, the packer maybe? I'm just thinking of big cars, essentially. I assume that's the reason. Maybe the bus is just too big for the garage to want to respray it. Maybe it will cost them too much in paint. Who knows? But yeah, let me know if there are any other cars which do this in the comments. Now, I was doing one of the missions on the mainland at one point. I think this mission was check out at the check-in. It's one of the payphone missions, I think, for Mr. Black. Yeah, essentially what you have to do is go to Escobar International Airport, take out some guy, and then try and get out of there with whatever the guy had that you had to steal. It's been a while since I played this mission. Basically get out of there while you get chased by guys in black Admirals. Now, I always wanted to steal one of these Admirals because it is a unique colour for this vehicle, outside the black cars cheat, of course. But yeah, on this occasion, for some reason, one of the guys that was originally in the Admiral, so one of the guys that chases you usually, when I wasted him, he actually got stuck in the back of the vehicle. It was just like lying across the back seats. It's really strange. I've never seen this before or since. But yeah, I just thought that was really strange, and it's, again, exactly the kind of thing that I like to capture if it happens to me. But yeah, it wasn't just like when I was still. Obviously you can see that I've driven it all the way to Sunshine Autos. But yeah, it was when I just drove off again, like he just wouldn't leave. This guy was just stuck there. Here's one that I captured on the preview build of Vice City that was released, or it might have been a review build. Anyway, the pre-release build, let's say, of GTA Vice City, but I believe this can happen in the final game as well. And that is that cars can sometimes spawn at the airport on the runways. Now, as far as I know, this is not meant to happen, but there must be some kind of like AI pathways in the airport itself on the runways for this to happen. But yeah, as you can see, it did happen. And I believe, even to a lesser extent, vehicles can spawn on the golf course as well. I remember watching a very old clip from Adam AK, an old GTA speedrunner, where this actually happened to him as well. So yeah, I've definitely seen it happen at the airport more, but as I say, it can happen on the golf course as well. A nice effect you can see in Vice City is that when the sun is setting, it can be reflected in the buildings nearby. And one of these that I noticed it on recently was the hospital on the mainland. But I thought I'd pick out this one in particular, and I'm not saying it was a glitch, but it just looked really strange. Like the lights were flashing all across the doors there. It almost looked like they were having some kind of disco in A&E. So yeah, not really, I guess, a glitch, not necessarily a fact either, but just this random thing that I came across and just decided to film. Now, we've covered this in GTA 3 before, but it's also in GTA Vice City, and that is that you can see a rainbow in the game. And like in GTA 3, these are very fleeting. You really don't have long to see the rainbow from when it appears to when it disappears. So as you can see from the length of this clip, you can see when the rainbow appears and when it disappears, and it's a matter of seconds, to be honest. So it's just one of those things. It's hard to actually plan to see a rainbow in the game, but yeah, when you do, you've just got to sit back and enjoy it. One thing I wondered in Vice City is what would happen if you tried to fly a Rhino to the boundaries of the map. Now, of course, you can only do this with the Dodo or the flying cars cheat enabled. Same cheat, of course, but typically called two different names. And this is what happened. Like, if you ever tried to do this in a boat, generally, I think the boat just slows down. Like, the game forces you to slow down in the boat, and you just can't go any further. You have to turn around. But in the Rhino, it's quite interesting because if you, like I say, if you fly to the boundary like this, it will just turn you around 180 degrees. I assume this is probably the same as what happens with the helicopter and the skimmer now that I come to think about it. But yeah, I always just love flying the Rhino in this game, and I was curious to see whether I could actually get any further in the Rhino than I could in either the helicopter or the aeroplane. But yeah, sadly not. It was the same result, but still, good to test. At various places in Vice City, you can see a bottle of what's called Guff Juice, which sounds really strange. Now, the reason I included this in the video is because I reckon this is potentially a piece of British humour by Rockstar North, who are of course based in the UK, specifically Scotland. It could be a piece of British humour that could just kind of go over the heads of Americans, or if you're from elsewhere. So basically, if you've ever noticed this bottle of Guff Juice anywhere and you're wondering what it means, well, in the UK, guff is one of the slang terms that we have for fart. So there you go, it's a bottle of farts. Enjoy. A glitch that I encountered a lot is with the helicopters at the Vercetti Estate. Now, I'm not sure why this happens, and I was trying to remember whether this also happened on console, not just on an emulator. And of course, I'm using an emulator to record all these clips. So yeah, I couldn't remember whether it was like an emulator specific glitch or whether it happened on console too. So let me know if you've ever experienced this. Essentially though, sometimes when you get in one of the helicopters at the Vercetti Estate, instead of just flying away normally, it will go mental and it will fly up high in the sky or just go absolutely miles away at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and the game will just crash. So yeah, let me know if you've ever experienced this, and let me know if you know what causes it as well. I was wondering whether it was something to do with having the dodo or the flying cars cheat enabled and then attempting to fly a helicopter, but I got some inconsistent results when I was testing that. So yeah, it's a bit of a mystery to me. Here's a video that you can see on the first island near Ocean Beach, right near the Pole Position Club actually. Pretty close to where we looked before actually, at the travel agents that advertised Edinburgh as a destination. So this shop here is called Rockstar Video Games, and of course it's an Easter egg for you to find. You can see four characters artwork to be specific from GTA 3, and from left to right these are 8-Ball, Elboro, Kenji and Maria. So yeah, you may have seen this, you may not have seen this, but yeah, if you haven't, I do recommend going to check it out actually, because I feel like this is something that I didn't know about when I was younger, and it's something that I've only learnt about recently. So yeah, definitely well worth a visit. Okay, sticking in the same area, let's talk about the Ocean Beach Hotel. Now, the first thing I want to say about this is there's actually a very interesting poster on the wall. You might have seen it, you might not have done. But again, another Easter egg that's related to the previous game in the series, GTA 3. If you go up into your bedroom, your hotel room here at the Ocean Beach, you can see a poster of Claude from GTA 3. It's in a comic book style, so it's not like for like, of course, but you can definitely tell by the clothes that it's Claude. Also, something else that I noticed about the Ocean Beach hotel room recently, I was just looking at this space here with the two plants. No, it's not the set for Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis. I don't know what it was supposed to be, and that's what intrigued me about it really. It's just this seemingly wasted space. And then when I looked around it a little bit more, I actually saw a door texture on the wall here, which was something I've never noticed before. Now, of course, you can't go through this door and there's nothing behind it. You can do the rocket launcher glitch to look through the wall, which is where you stand facing away from the door, you get the rocket launcher out, and then you turn around 180 degrees and it allows you to see through the wall behind you, which is pretty useful. Yeah, so what purpose does this door texture have? Well, I think the most likely theory is that this is probably where the bathroom is, or where the bathroom was intended to be, of course, because otherwise this room doesn't have a bathroom, and you'd end up potentially sharing one with someone else down the corridor. Nobody wants that in a hotel, right? So yeah, this is probably just an indication that this is where the bathroom is, but of course, it was never modelled and put into the game. Here's a weird glitch that I encountered during a mission once. I'm not quite sure what happened, to be honest. This was a long time ago that I recorded this, but partway through the mission, I think it might have been after a particular cutscene, Tommy was just on the ground, and as I was using the directional controls, all he did was just spin around on the floor, like he didn't get up or anything, and the only way I could get out of it was by firing the gun, and then fortunately, everything went back to normal. But yeah, this was just a really weird and random glitch that I never thought I'd encounter. Actually, I've got one more thing to share about the Ocean Beach hotel room with you all. And that is when you first go into the Ocean Beach hotel room, the room is pretty much blank. Like, there's nothing over there in the corner. There's nothing on the table near where the drinks are, near where the bottle of Guff Juice is, of course. And then coming over to the other side of the room, there's some things on this little coffee table here, but there's also only that one poster on the wall, which is of course the poster of Claude, which we just discussed a minute ago. And then coming over to the bed, well, there's nothing really on the bed apart from this one random white texture here. Assume maybe it's a bath towel. Yeah, nothing hung up on the wardrobe there, and nothing on top of the TV either. But what happens is, as you play through the game and you complete certain missions, new items will spawn in your hotel room. Now, I'm not sure you've ever noticed this. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Or maybe you haven't really paid particular attention to each individual item that appears in the hotel room. But I'll just have a quick rundown now. So over here in this corner, we have 3 barrels of boomshine, should I say, from Phil Cassidy. And we also have a secret package that's been opened and put on the drinks table there. You can see on the wall here, we've got 2 posters of Candy Sucks movies as well. Before, we just had the one of Claude. And on the coffee table down there, we actually have one of the masks that was used in the bank heist as well, which you can see there. Coming over to the bed, you can now see a bag full of money. And hung up on the wall, you can see a suit from Raphael's. And of course, on the TV as well, you have some kind of trophy. I had to zoom in to see what it actually said. And it says Shooter of the Month. So I assume this is from the mission where you beat Phil Cassidy at the shooting range and in the lead up to the bank heist. So yeah, I don't know if that's all of them. That's all the ones that I noticed at least. So yeah, let me know if I've missed any. And also do let me know if you'd like a video where I explain all of these items and the missions that actually make these items appear in more detail. I mentioned the import-export garage at Sunshine Autos before, and this is an area, to be honest, that you only get access to when you're dropping a car off. So when you've completed all the lists, there comes a point where you can no longer access this area, unless you glitch through the wall, of course. So I guess Rockstar, or Rockstar North rather, never really thought you'd explore this garage all that much, but of course I did. And it's interesting to see some of the collisions that some of the items have here. So for example, with certain objects, you can stand on top of them, but actually the collision is a lot higher up than the object appears to be. And then there are other objects where if you jump on them, you can clip through them. Like the one over to the right hand side with all the tools. And then there's also this red tool bench at the back. You can do the same thing, basically. You can jump, you look like you're jumping onto it, but you just clip straight through it. So yeah, I guess not too much attention paid to these things by Rockstar North. As I say, maybe they thought that we would never explore them, but of course, I did. Now, when I did one of my rare or not very much used places videos in Vice City, one of the places that I checked out was the top of the Vice Point Langer building, which you can see here. Now, of course, there's a very famous Easter egg with this building, which is where at 11 o'clock, from 11 till midnight more specifically, you can see a particular shape appear, which is made up of lights on the building. Unfortunately, it's a little bit glitchy on the emulator here, but I have heard that this glitch is potentially fixed on the latest version of PC SX2, so I will download that and try it out. But anyway, you can still see it. Yeah, you can see a particular arrangement of lights on the building, and every 15 seconds you can see water spouting up from the roof. So I do remember when I originally put that video up, someone asked me, Matt, you went to the top of the Vice Langer building, what was it called? The Vice Point Langer, but you didn't wait around to see what the water fountain, let's say, looks like up close. And to everybody who wanted to know what the water squirt looks like close up, here it is. That was my first attempt at getting somewhat in the right position. As I say, it does go off every 15 seconds, but it doesn't actually go off at midnight. So I think you only get 3 goes at it. You get it at 11 o'clock. Oh no, more than 3, sorry. You get it at 11 o'clock, 1/4 past, half-past and quarter to, so you get 4 water squirts per day. So yeah, for everybody who asked me, for everybody who wanted to know, this is what it looks like up close. You can rest easy now. And last of all in the video, this was something else I noticed when I recorded the clip of the rainbower, funnily enough. There's this road, this massive road that goes right down one of the sides of the mainland, the east side of the mainland. Now this glitch I've seen happen here more than anywhere else, but it can happen in other places. And I believe I've even seen it happen in GTA 3, but much more rarely. For some reason, it just happens in this spot more than any other. And that is, when you drive up this road sometimes and a car spawns, it can actually do a 180 on the road before it goes the right way. So it's almost like sometimes a traffic car will spawn going the wrong way up the road, and the game almost has to correct it and turn it the right way instead. At least that's what looks like is happening here. But yeah, a weird one. Again, something that you may have noticed. To be honest, I'd be surprised if you've never noticed this, just because I remember it happening so frequently in this spot. But yeah, with that, that's the end of the video. That was 30 weird random facts, glitches, and whatever else in Vice City. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you for another video soon.